Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Aurora C-Sharp Let's Play series Uncut. In today's episode, we can continue where it last left off. Now, as you may know, we didn't have an episode yesterday. The reason for that was because OBS decided to not actually capture the video of the game. As such, there was about an hour and 10 minutes of audio, which does not have any video associated with it, and so it's practically useless to me. So before we get into today's episode, I'm going to kind of explain what happened in the lost, so to speak, episode. We're going to kind of just go through it really quickly, give me about 5 minutes, and then we'll go on to the actual episode part of it to go through. So first thing that we did, first few things, we developed a salvager. The salvager has been put to use and has been salvaging various resources. Very basic vessel. We also designed an interceptor. The Ontario class interceptor, which is now on the Rice class, old Rice class carriers, and 12 of them are assigned to each individual supercarrier. We also connected on the galaxy map with the stabilization ship, the Northumberland. We connected Lalno 2118 to Lalno 2185, then to YZ SETI, and now we are beginning to connect up to Omega SETI, and we're heading over to EQ Pegassi. In terms of the situation in Greenbridge 34, we fled the system, realizing the cost of fighting there would be too much, and as such we moved away and our forces moved out accordingly. We also reorganized our forces, and we will continue to do so. We also reassigned frigates and other crafts to worlds, and we colonized the planet of Shrew 298A2 after we found ruins there, and we dug up some of those ruins. We also moved ground forces around for defensive purposes, so we have on Ego, we have 4 brigades. Ego also has the 2nd Carrier Strike Group assigned to it now, which is in its protection duty. And we've also been building up a lot of our other forces as well, and we'll need to reassign a lot of these to proper areas. But basically, oh yes, we also moved the railgun stuff over here to prepare to be put into the division headquarters and get that stuff sorted out properly. Research-wise, we closed in on magneto plasma drives, which we were very close to unlocking, as well as 25cm railguns. And we are overall doing a lot better in terms of our Galasite. We found Galasite on Ego, which was apparently not being transported, and I had to fix some of the transport links. But Earth now is doing a lot better than our Galasite, so the Galasite shortages are mainly over. One thing we do not have, though, is Sorium, which we'll need to think about in the coming years. Overall, everything that was pretty much it. Not a lot did happen. As I said, we were salvaging, and we also gained some research points. So we have the Nova Scotia over here, who is currently unloading all of these sensors and different things that it gathered from some of the wrecks we found in Greenbridge, such as the Albany class and various other classes, and we disassemble those components for extra research capabilities. So, something I'm going to do before we get into today's episode, let's bring up the Aurora electrons. So yeah, thankfully the episode that was lost was not that, was just a mainly logistics episode. So it's not really that important that we lost it. But obviously it does kind of suck. So we're going to bring up Aurora electrons, we're going to have a look at minerals. One thing I'm looking for specifically is going to be, I want access to Sorium, the mineral, not the fuel type, because Sorium will gain me a lot of valuable things. I want minimum quantity, minimum accessibility. Let's make sure we have a minimum accessibility of 0.6. Okay. A1, Alpha Centauri, A2. Is Alpha Centauri A2, is that a planetary body or not? That's the question. And then we have a look over here. Alpha Centauri. There we go. A2 is a gas giant. We need a Sorium deposit of some sort, which isn't that. No. ground M2. Zeta Sextanus has Sorium. That's interesting. HN Libre, Holiness, Bernard Star. I would like to know if this is Bernard Star. We can have a look at that. Maybe I don't think that's a gas giant. No, that is a planet, and that does have access to Sorium at 0.8 accessibility. As various lots of other different minerals. That is definitely a colony we want to think about getting. We can send automated mines over there specifically. And then we can have them be mined over to Bernard Star, and we can then move those resources over accordingly. Oh yes, another thing as well is we continue moving over many of our stations. We also start moving over more Bavaria classes, and we begin to mining or producing a lot more fuel. Also, our not our sand fuel harvesters, our Cheshires were helping a lot here, terraforming the planet of Impassive. Yeah, that's pretty much everything catched up. I don't think I'm missing anything. But now that we have our Galasite back, we start thinking about building more vessels and building more fleets. Something that I'm waiting on is getting better shipyards and also preparing for a few other things. And I'm going to need more commercial shipyards specifically for my plans. So I'm going to order construction of commercial shipyards. I'm going to order 5 of them to be produced. What is the current status? Yeah, what's the current status of... Okay, we've got carrier strike groups both there and there. Those are going to need to be reassigned proper fighters. The second carrier strike group's in Bernard Star. You'll need to head over to Sol, refuel, resupply, and I'll give you further orders. We're going to need to give them their fighters, which will then give us flexibility, of course. In terms of our ground forces, infantry divisions are working themselves out. I'm waiting for more brigades before I can fully get everything that I want to get out of here. Something that we also were researching, I believe, and we already did research, was the combat mechs, I do believe. Yeah, we were the combat mech infantry, and I was thinking about making a battalion specifically for that. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to make a Marine Assault Battalion. And I'm going to give that FMC. We also need to make some Mountaineer versions, and we need to make logistics versions as well. There's a load of stuff that we need to actually do here. Let's add in 400 of these. That gives us like 200. That's a lot of mechs. 150. Looks like we're going to have to do like a 125. 110. That works. And then we need a battalion headquarters. So we'll add in... we'll do the Expeditionary Brigade one. Expeditionary Brigade. Expeditionary Brigades. Headquarters. There we go. And we'll use these Marine Assault Battalions specifically for doing heavy damage. So the combat engineers are, on the combat mech infantry, are medium vehicles with heavy anti-vehicle, heavy crude anti-personnel weapons, which works pretty damn well for them. But I'm going to have to make a bunch of variations on Mountaineers, but I'll do that at some point in another game. One thing I do want to begin doing, though, is once we get the brigades done, to start moving our surface-to-orbit weapons around, so that we can begin to protect our planets accordingly. Okay, is there anything specifically that I want to be doing now? I don't really think so. One thing that I did want to be thinking about, though, was probably a boarding craft of some kind. We had completed boarding bays, yes we had. So we're going to do exactly that. We're going to remove the bridge, we're going to move engineering space, and we're going to move fuel storage. And we are going to add in the boarding bays. I want a standard, no, I want very small. We're going to add in 500 tons worth of space. So that means we can move 2 platoons or land 2 platoons. Do we really want to do that? I mean, I think a platoon per one, it's mainly going to be a fuel thing that's going to matter most for us. Let me get the engine design. We want a 300% fuel engine. And I'm going to go for a, what would that be? A size 10 engine. Size 10, that'd be what? 500 tons. Let's go for... Now we're getting like a size 12. We'll do a size 11 engine and see what that'll get us. I think that'll get us probably what, 20,000 kilometers per second speeds. We'll have magneto plasma tech soon, so I don't really want to start designing vessels just yet. We're going to have to wait a little bit for that. Let me turn prototypes on. Add that to the design. And then we're going to add in some deployment time. I just want like 0.1, 3 days. And then we're going to add in fuel storage. We don't need that much fuel storage. We just need that. But that will definitely do us pretty damn well. Give us 20,000 kilometers per second there, which is almost as fast as a missile. But we'll hold off for now until I can get access to magneto plasma, in which case we will be doing a lot of designing work and getting things sorted out for us, especially in terms of missiles. So we're going to have to wait how much longer on that, like a couple of years? Yeah, looks like a couple of years before we can start thinking about that. Okay, task group Alpha completed orders orbiting naval post impassive. So these are the two Rices I was talking about. They carry both their 32 Ontario class vessels, which is lovely. And we can use those for defensive purposes, of course. At impassive, it's 76,000 tons worth of forces. So if we go over to 55 Buddhas right now, we have quite a few defenses set up over here, ready for defending. Considering we are putting such importance on defending our fuel supplies over here, I was also considering that we need to put our priority on defending Sirius as a serious contention, that we need to defend it in some regard. The problem with Sirius at the moment is that it has very little in the way of a proper place where we can put forces on. We could put forces on these planets, on this moon perhaps, but the colony cost is pretty significant there, so it'd be pretty hard to get maintenance facilities to be deployed to that location. So to defend the world, we will need to colonize Lalonid 21185, and also this area, because if we do that, then we're protected from most sides that we can think about in regards to our planet. So I'm going to make sure that we actually get some colonies down over to Lalonid. The problem right now, and I talked about this in the Lost episode, was that we don't have enough transportation capacity to actually move everything that we need to move over. Right now we have these guys just moving over as many automated mines as possible to Sirius, but we're not at 500, by the way. We are producing a hell of a lot of production term. Okay, second carrier strike group is ready. I'm going to reorganize the shipyard fleet. So we have the Ontarios here. We're waiting on 6 more Ontario class fighters, I do believe. Yeah, we are. Once those are done, we can then reassign those to the carrier, and then that'll have all the stuff it will need. Thermal reduction signature needs further research. I'm researching all of the thermal reduction stuff because I want access to a small vessel that will be capable of providing a scout that will not be able to be detected so easily. To do so, I'm going to need... various things, and one of those things is going to be a cloaking device combined with a few others. We also want to consider genetic modification at some point while we think about that, genetic modification, so that I can do some other stuff. So we're going to go for... no, we got thermal reduction already on the way there. We're going to go for cloaking theory afterwards, though, and I'm going to put the rest of these into getting us better ground combat capabilities. What do I want, really? Jungle warfare, low gravity and species tolerance, high pressure, extreme temperature capabilities, and extreme pressure capabilities could also be very, very useful. Heavy vehicles would also be pretty damn good, and heavy bombardment would also be pretty damn good. There's a lot of things that I want there for designing ground forces. The problem is it just takes a lot of time and effort to really design them. The Northumberland has created the connection to Omega Ceti. Omega Ceti does contain 2 planets that could be colonized easily. Does it contain any possible area where we could organize fuel or anything. No, not really. It's just going to be a population and defensive world, which we can situate forces on. We have so many worlds that I want to be colonizing, but I just don't have the capacity right now because we're moving so many automated mines around, and as such, we need to double our efforts to produce more transportation ships for our stuff. Okay, the Northumberland, your job is going to be to go through. You're stationed in Omega Ceti. You're going to go to, where is it? FL Virginis, yes, and you're going to stabilize that jump point. And I'm going to make sure that we are actually producing the freighters that we are going to be needing if we are to survive. So 3 more of those, and I'm going to increase slipways onto that. I'm also going to we have spare space here for frigates. There's so much redesign that we're going to need to do once we get magneto plasma drives. It's going to be pretty damn insane. Production of the Ontario class completed, which means that we now have 12 of them available on this planet for immediate assignment into the second carrier strike group. The second carrier strike group needs to get rid of 12 fires. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to put you into the reserves. And then I'm going to land all of the... Yeah, I'm going to land all of the... all of these fighters onto the Vigilance. We also have fighters here, looks like. You guys were loading all minerals until full on impassive, weren't you? Yes, you were. Impassive, where's impassive? No, I was impassive. We have all the minerals we need there, which is great. Let's bring all of these back then, and then we can begin to actually use these freighters for more important purposes. Unload all minerals. We have quite a few of them there. I just want to make sure that I can actually reassign this to the logistics command. So shipyard fleet, commercial and logistics, and I'm going to rename this to cargo group Charlie. And we'll use that for transporting infrastructure to new colonies and some other stuff as well. Okay, so now the second carrier group should have, if I have a look at second naval fleet, second carrier group should now have all of the fighters it needs. So, yeah, pretty down for mid-roll, 186,000 tons. We need to assign a few other vessels. The first off is the Norfolk. So there we go, and we need the supply vessel, but I don't have that available to me at the moment. Send you over to Bernard Star, send you over to refuel and resupply at Ego. You have plenty of capacity to support such a fleet, so we are fine in that regard. Okay, let's continue our research. I want to get this magneto plasma drive done soon. The problem is our power propulsion has not, we aren't getting that many good scientists, and that's kind of been an issue. The 30th Bavaria construction. How many Bavarias did I order construction of? Wow, I really ordered way too many of those. Just modify that to 5. 5 more. I ordered way too many, but that will give us plenty of fuel that we will be able to ship out from across the entire empire accordingly. Let's have a look at that right now. If we have a look at station command, we are producing 12 million litres of fuel over 55 Buthas already, which is going to outstrip most of our capacity. The Helios was built. 2 of them were built on Earth, which is great news. That's great news. So that's 2 Helios classes. They are going to need some... We're going to need missiles for those, so we're going to order ordnance. Actually, I don't want ordnance just yet. I want to wait again for magneto plasma. There's a lot of things I want to do. I just have to wait, really. Cargo Group Charlie, let's have you reorganize yourself. Your entire duty is just going to be to transfer infrastructure over to the places that I need it transferred over to. Okay, well that's being transported down, which works out for me. Okay, Cargo Group Charlie has completed orders. Now your job is going to be to load infrastructure, which we don't have on Earth. We do have that on Alpha Centauri, though, I do believe. So I'm going to go to that place, and we're going to then move infrastructure over, and that should then grow the colonies accordingly. Infantry brigades were trained on rice, which is great news for us. We will then assign the appropriate things to them. I'm going to assign service to orbit batteries to make us our STO division. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. And yeah, that gives us 200mm. 200mm one. No, I don't want the light armored in there. I want just service to orbit weapons. Okay, that works. We need a division to put it under, though. That's the problem. Rice. We need divisions, and then we also need more brigades. Yeah, more brigades, but we don't have that just yet. Okay, Cargo Charlie complete orders. Good to know. Northumberland completed its task. Let's have it then continue its stabilization work. Naval Logistics, Northumberland. Let us go through FL Virginius and then let us stabilize the jump point behind it. Complete research into construction with a BP, which is great news. We're going to go for better research rate. That's going to be my focus next. That'll take us 4 years to complete, which is not that long at all. And that will rapidly increase technology advances, which we need. 3 more New York Bs were completed. So let me assign those correctly up. I'm going to assign those into their own group. So you guys can move 6 installations at once, which is always nice. So I'm going to move that up to the Logistics and Stations Command. There we go. Yep, move you up to Logistics, and then I'm going to rename you to Cargo Group. Echo, and then we'll have you guys transport over things that we may or may not need. Yeah, okay. We'll wait until we have those other cargo groups moved over for further orders. Cargo Group Charlie, you're currently orbiting Alpha Centauri. Load installations, load infrastructure, go to, where is it? We want to go to Omega Ceti, I think. No, Lalonid is going to be the most important one first. Unload all installations, and then head back to Sol and refuel. That's going to be your orders. I'm going to have the Cargo Group Echo join them. So Alpha Centauri fleets, join Cargo Group Charlie as that fleet. There we go. That works out pretty damn well for us. Another Bavaria was constructed, and we continue to move stuff around. Once we get magnetic plasma, we're going to be able to refit most of our, or almost all of our vessels. The military ships will get the refits first, and I'm also going to refit the corvettes and start making some corvettes that are a little bit more capable to what I would like. The Northumberland completed its orders, so now we can continue our expansion of building roads, essentially. So go through UN FL Virginius. So now we want to go to EU Pegasi. That works. Let's continue incrementing along here. Okay, good. We also researched, I forgot, we researched the, where is it? Yeah, we researched the better railguns, didn't we? Railgun 25 centimeters. We can also show next tech. That gives us quite the range increase and the damage increase as well. So that gives us 5 damage a shot with a tonnage of 400 tons, while this would be 450 for the 30 centimeter, but that increases damage significantly. So that is something I do want to pursue, is getting us better railguns just overall. So I'm going to remove research labs from this. I'm going to focus on getting ourselves better railguns as well. So as we have 30 centimeters, we can start then designing that onto destroyers and other vessels, and that'll be pretty damn good. Okay, we complete orders. That's good to hear. And we are continuing to increment. What is going on with our mining situation? We're now 520 mines. And continue to build a stockpile up there. Everything's looking pretty damn good. We're also creating resources there, but we'll need to move automated mines to other areas as well. Looks like this has slowed down after just mining for so long, which is lovely to see, but also we need to start actually moving the resources off here because we have tons of resources that we could very easily use on other planets. So, mineral transportation group, what is your orders? You are to load all minerals. Okay, you're fine. You are unloading all minerals. Okay, I don't get what you're doing. You're in Sol system. Unload all your minerals, please. And then we're going to give you a new order. I'm not sure what some of these cargo groups are doing, to be honest. It kind of doesn't make any sense. Okay, you have completed your orders. What are you doing again? You are doing nothing. You are going to ego, loading all minerals. What is this? Okay, so you're loading all minerals until full. You don't. There's no more minerals on there. Okay, go back to Sol. We're gonna have to reorganize this again. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, your job is going to be to load minerals from Sirius. So you can go to Sirius. You're going to load all minerals until full. Go back to Sol. Unload all minerals. And then refuel. Okay? Keep doing those orders. Yeah, you keep doing those orders. You are going to go to Alphas and you're going to go back to Sol. You are going to go back to Sol as well, and we'll have you transport more resources over, and we have to continue doing some other stuff. Mineral Transport Troop Delta, complete orders. Okay, so listen up. You're going to go to Alpha Centauri. You're going to load all minerals until full, head back to Sol, unload all minerals, refuel, cycle those moves. Okay, nearly the Bavarians are done. We're going to be able to make so much fuel, and I'm going to ship that across the entire Empire, which will be obviously very, very required in that regard. Okay, we're going to retool this for the A-Lodge, or the supply class vessel. And we are going to order one more of those for the carrier strike group, the second carrier strike group, because we're going to need it. Okay, Northumberland finished that job. We're going to give it continuing orders to just continue its stabilization work. So stabilize that jump point. So now we have these jump points pretty much sorted out, and we can go to Igu Picassi, which has some very nice habitable worlds which we can take over. Do we have people on Lalonid A2 yet? Yes, we have infrastructure established on that world, which is nice. Mineral Transport Group. Where is Mineral Transport Group Charlie? Mineral Transport Charlie is this. We'll keep you here for now. I need a lot more freighter capacity. I'm going to have to design new freighters at some point, I think. I'll be honest. Yeah. Okay, the last Bavaria was completed. Production of Bavaria completed on Earth, which gives us free capacity to build more things. I'm going to build 4,000 units of infrastructure just for use in perpetuating colonization efforts. In terms of colonization efforts, how is Impassive doing in terms of its what it needs? Environmental factor. The water is nearly at a good level. Then we'll need to bring up the oxygen to 0.1, and then we can begin to change out the colony there. Okay, we complete research into extreme temperature capabilities. What about extreme pressure capabilities? There we go. Carnival's construction complex complete on Rice. I'm going to have you build construction factories now. I'm going to build 100 more construction factories. So now we have a crap ton of construction factories that we can continue to produce. Of course, the mining needs for that is pretty damn significant here. Yeah, we need to produce a lot more than we are able to. It's the divisions that are the most costly element of it. So we're going to delete those tasks and let the other divisions complete first. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty peaceful episode as we just wait around and hold out, really. Go through... Okay, we complete that. We're going to go stabilize that jump point now. So now we have a cut all the way up to EQ Picassi. We will need to colonize all of these systems. We need to colonize Lalanid, Omega Ceti, FL Virginis, and EQ Picassi. We then need to ship the appropriate things to all of them and prepare them for immediate usage and defensive purposes, where we will ship frigates and other vessels over. Guard Group Charlie has completed orders. That's great to know. We are going to have you go load infrastructure, go to... We want you to go to Omega Ceti, and then unload the installations there, and then we're going to have you head back to Sol and refuel, and then we'll have you cycle those orders accordingly. Cycle those orders until we have enough infrastructure on the planet that I'm satisfied. Something that I'm going to do as well is I'm going to let my civs rebuild some stuff, or replace some stuff. So I'm just going to save that. And that should now put them back to active, because we've had them off active all this time, so they can't make new vessels. So we're going to let them launch new ships and do new things as we require. If we have a look at our civilian sector right now, we have quite a lot of vessels just sitting around, lots and lots of them. Interstellar is the main one, which is moving colony ships all the way over. How is the colonization efforts going? We finally have a population now on Lalanid. I'll assign a governor immediately, and then we will have stuff moved over at some point. Research facility is available on Earth. Okay, and past Lalanid is good. Sirius is now up to 540 mines. We're nearly at 10,000 tons of gallacite producing every year, which is pretty damn great for us. How is the gallacite looking on Earth? Gallacite is going up. It's going all the way up to the moon there. Empire mining, we are mining crap tons of it. Sorium is right now our biggest problem, and we're going to have to move automated mines to deal with that accordingly. Finally, magneto plasma drive technology has completed. So the first thing I'm going to do with this technology is I'm going to design ourselves some better missiles to deal with the opponents. So I want a size 4 missile with I think a 40 million kilometer range. We're using 2-stage thermonuclear warhead. I believe we are anyway. And yeah, what is our current technology? Just to make sure that we have what we need. So we have 48 missile agility, 1 magneto plasma now. We have fuel efficiency 0.6. And our target speed is going to be 5,200 kilometers per second. I want a 80% chance to hit that. That gives us a missile that goes 59,500 kilometers per second. God damn, that's fast. That's a massive upgrade over previous engines. With an 80% chance to hit, that gives us a 100% chance to hit, in fact. Yeah, that's pretty damn great. I can only break 60,000 there, which is pretty damn impressive. What if I did this? 50... So what if I lowered the range to 20 million kilometers? We could get nearly a 70,000 kilometers per second missile out of that. Not sure they would be able to handle that as well as they were the other ones, but I don't want to be firing from such short range anymore. So I'm going to sacrifice the 10,000 kilometers per second extra speed for this design. This design is very, very good, and I'm happy with it. Oh yes, warhead strength, my bad. I didn't add the warhead strength. I want a warhead strength of 4. So it gives us a 49,300 kilometers per second missile, which works out pretty damn well for us, I think, honestly. Compared to our current missiles, that's, a good 11,000 kilometers per second faster and has a double the range capability on it. The question is, would our interceptors, if we have a look, we'll have to redesign them anyway for what I want, but if we have a look at our strike fighters, we have a range of 32.5 million kilometers on our main fire control. We're going to have to redesign that, but I'm happy with this design. I think it's pretty damn good. It'll give us a 98.6% chance to hit a 5 kilometers per second ship, and that is pretty damn impressive. So that is what we are going to be doing. So we'll design the missile first. So warhead strength, we want to add a warhead 0.667. We're going to add the engine in. That's going to need to be 2.8. And we'll give a fuel boost of 440%. We want to add the fuel capacity in, so it's going to be 0.5333. And that gives us the missile that we specifically want. We're going to go for the Mark II. What is the current missile called? Mark III Striker ASM. Striker anti-ship missile. We'll create that design. Then we want to go for AMMs. So we're going to go for a warhead strength of 1. We want a missile size of 1. I want a speed of 20. Target speed is going to be 30,000 kilometers. And our desired chance to hit is going to be 25. Do we not? 2 million kilometers. Okay, so that gives us a 74,000 kilometers per second missile, which gives us a... what would that be? Like a 30% chance to hit a 20 kilometer per second opponent. That is much, much better than previous iterations. So that is what I'm going to be going in for. So we'll go for this anti-missile missile. So we're going to design it accordingly. So 0.1667. A fuel capacity of 0.0526 and then an agility of 0.0107 with an engine of 0.77 with a 600% boost. There we go. Then we got our missile. I'm gonna call it the Mark II Guardian AMM/AIM. Create that design. Then we're gonna go for there's no point to upgrade the SLMs just yet, but the Firebird ASMs we can upgrade. So these are going to be size 6 missiles. I want them to do... So what was this missile? We did... Just to make sure. We did 10 damage with this. So I want to do a warhead strength of 9. A range of, I think, 60 million kilometers works. Target speed is going to be 5,200 kilometers per second. And I want to have a 80% chance to hit. I give us a 40,000 kilometers per second missile with a warhead of 9, with a range of 62 million kilometers. What if we do an 80 million kilometer? That gives us 38,000 kilometers per second, which I think would work for us as a longer range missile. It's 80 million kilometers away, which can be the edge of our range, which can support our fighters and the like. And so that is going to be the missile that we designed to replace the other one. So it's going to be a... this is going to be a pretty damn long range missile, but it'll work out, I think, pretty well for us. 1.5. Fuel capacity of 0.7372. And an agility of 0.628 with an engine size of 3.7. A boost of 385. That gets us the exact range we want. And then we're going to list the Mark II Firebird ASM. And we'll put all of those into immediate research. So let's go over to missile and kinetics weapons. And we're going to go to this. We're going to design Firebird, Striker, and Guardian. Then we're going to redesign our craft. There's not much point in redesigning our interceptors because we need better tracking speed, so we'll make it worth it for us. But we can redesign our missile fighters, and that's what we will need to do anyway. So we're going to create the Block 3 version. The problem with these fighters is a lot of time is that the old fighters just kind of sit around not doing anything. So I may just put them on older carriers or just send them over to different worlds for defensive purposes, old backwater worlds. So we're going to create a new design. We're going to use the same size of an engine. So we need a 250-ton engine. So that's going to be a size 5 engine with 300% power boost, which gives us a speed of 24,000 kilometers per second. So let's go for that. I'm going to go for prototype, and I'm going to grab the magneto plasma drive, which is pretty damn great. Then I'm going to remove... I'm going to remove the fighter pod bays. I don't think they're as useful as I hope they would be, to be honest. And then I'm going to change out the missile fire controls. So missile fire control, let's have a look here. Also box launcher wise, I just want to make sure that we're okay with that. So size 4 launcher, that'll give us a box launcher, that'll give us a, yeah, we're fine with that. So we want a missile fire control range of, let's have a look at this. For a 5,000 ton vessel, I want a range of that's a 50 ton. We need a 0.5 for 41 million. We'll do a 45 million comma. So that gives us a 30 ton fire control. And then we want one that is resolution 1 for hitting small missiles. And we'll give that a range for a size 6 missile or smaller. Right, yeah, it gets pretty big, pretty damn fast. So we'll just give that a 0.5 as well. For hitting our opponents. So let's design that. Where's our missile fire controls? Missile fire control, there we go. So 45, and then 1, and then I'm going to add in fuel to make up for the fuel loss that we suffered from going from magnetoplasma and a little bit more of a fuel hungry engine. But that's 24,000 kilometers a second. We're nearly as fast as their missiles with our fighters, so that is pretty damn impressive, I will say that. Cost has increased increased significantly over the original Block 2. So these will be a lot more expensive, so I'm not going to try and forsake their usage, but yeah, we definitely need to be careful of that. What we are going to do, though, is we are going to design this now. So this is going to be basically a ship design episode, really, at this point. I'm going to go for a size 10, size 12 missile, try 12 engine, 600 tons, yeah, we can go for 700 tons, no? 700 tons, no, we can't, we need to go size 12. There we go, so that gives us a 576 EP engine, which is going to make this thing extremely bloody fast. And it's got quite a nice range on it as well. I don't really see any problems with it. Of course, that is a lot of tonnage going into, yeah, 28,000 kilometers per second. It's almost as fast as a missile, which is the idea. But that's a lot of engine tonnage for something that's relatively light. So that'll be, we're gonna rename this to a boarding craft, breaching pod. Quebec class breaching pod, that works, I think, pretty well. Now I'm gonna give it a new hull. Boarding. We'll give it boarding craft. And then I'm going to, yeah, boarding craft, and then we're gonna have to research those components. We're gonna research that and make sure we research all of those. Yeah, that's good. Let's start thinking about refitting the supercarrier. That's going to be the next most important thing. So let's look at the engines on the supercarrier. It has 2 main engines. These are the 4100s, or the T41 EP100s. They're 4,800 tons. So we're going to need an engine that's 4,800 tons as well. So that'll be what, size 92, 96 engine. That gets us 1536 EP. We can give it fuel boost of a 1.6, 1.7. We aren't able to get a clean number out of it, which is really annoying. 1.2. What's the number 10? We get 1536 out of this engine. We could probably reduce the size of the engine accordingly. Let me have a look at the calculator real quick. Yeah, the calculator. Because that could give us some tonnage efficiency from the supercarrier, and then that would benefit us greatly. Let us go for magnetoplasma. I want to go for ship optimizer, magnetoplasma, engine power boost 3.0. Max 100 HS, 0.6. Ceramic composite, I think we have at the moment. I will check. I think we do. Let me check the defensive systems. No, we have a laminate. Yeah, we have laminate armor. Okay, desired tonnage 70,000 tons. Desired speed 55,000 kilometers per second. Number of engines minimum. Okay, so that'll be 3 engines. That's not good enough for me. What about 4,000 kilometers per second ship? That gives us 2 size 100 engines. That does work for me, actually. So we're going to design completely new engines, which will take quite a bit to actually get built in, but they will do their job, which will be the goal of it. Fuel boost of 1.75%. That gives us engines of 2800 EP. What's the fuel? Not very efficient on the fuel usage. If we look at the design already, we've got 5.9 million liters of fuel, right? So this could actually work out for us. The engines will be a little bit heavier, but it should make up for it with that. And that'll increase speed to 4,000 kilometers per second, which is going to help us a lot in terms of just efficiency-wise. So we'll need... I'm going to authorize that we do this, though. So we're going to go for magneto plasma drive engines. So we'll go for... We're going to create a new class. We're going to call this the Block 2 Normandy. I'm going to remove the main engines. We're going to update the armor. And I'm going to add in our own magneto plasma drive engines. There we go. So that gives us 2 engines and that increases the speed by 25%. 25% increase the speed at no extra fuel cost is significant. And I'm not going to throw that benefit away. I can also even add a little bit more fuel to the actual design. So it'll be a small refit that won't refit the weapon systems besides what we have there, but there we go. So that'll be the refitted design. So we're going to put that into a research immediately and get those ready to be designed up. And then we will begin refits of these vessels. So we're going to need a lot of research labs, and that's what I'm going to provide. We'll need, let's get the 240 EP so we can get the interceptors, then the boarding craft, and then we can go for the magneto plasma, which will take even longer. Put the rest of them into getting us better research rate, and yeah, that works out pretty goddamn well for us there. But yeah, now with magneto plasma, everything's going to be massively increasing for us. And capabilities. Okay, we got improved gravitational survey sensors, which means that we should have both now, which is lovely to see. Let's grab better missile fire controls, or the missile fire controls for the fighter. And then I'm also going to grab the better control speed there. We're going to need 72 block 3s for what we need. Missile fire control, okay, that's good. Yeah, okay. So we're going to have to do a lot of military research at this point. Also, our wealth has just goddamn tripled. Like, holy crap, our wealth is insane right now. Okay, Lalanids looking good. Mining also looking pretty damn good. What's our stockpile of Galasite right now? It's not only going down, so that is really nice. Okay, we complete research, and we've begun research into fire-controlled speed rating, which is good to know. And slipway added at Earth, which is nice. 55 Buddhist defense fleet. Oh yeah, that's what the problem is. You're over there, and there's not enough facilities on 55 Buddhist, is there? If you have a look in passive, no, there is. I don't see a problem with that. We have enough capacity. Oh, we have no maintenance supplies. That's why. We do not have enough maintenance supplies. So I'm going to have you to go to Sol, resupply from Colony, and then head over to 55 Buddhist and transfer maintenance supplies over to the Colony. We need to actually make sure we restart production of maintenance supplies because we are going to dwindle without them. And we can begin to do so now that we have Galasite to spare. Production of shipyards, commercial shipyards, done. I'm going to just keep adding slipways to all of these. And it should also help fund our industry as well. Our economic situation should really boom even more from that. Mark II Firebird will be done. We need the Mark II Striker ASM. And then we'll need better fighters as well. We can use our old fighters with better missiles. It just would be less effective with less range and less capability than I would really necessarily want. Magneto plasma driver complete research. The first one anyway. And I'm gonna have a look at refitting freighters, creating a new class of freighter of some description or another, which would have a better engine on it to speed up our expansion, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. Let me have a think about that. Let's go to cargo ships. New York B class, we can rename this to the New York C. And we're going to remove the 4 ion drives. I'm going to add in a new commercial engine. That's going to be 5,000 tons with a 0.50% efficiency, which gives us a 800 EP engine. I'm going to prototype that, and I'm going to add that to the new design. We can also update the armor as well, which is nice. And let's add that engine accordingly. So, magneto plasma. Where is the commercial? There we go. And that gives us 680 kilometers per second. So that gives us like double the fuel, the efficiency there, but I want to add 2 of these accordingly. So that gives us way more range, but the speed's obviously a lot less than I may want. So we'll do 1700 kilometers per second, and I'm going to remove, we can remove one of the fuel storage. What's the total capacity of this shipyard? It's plenty, so we can actually, we'll actually be just fine. The biggest hog on our actual fuel economy at the moment is, it's coming from our freighters. That's really what's hogging all the fuel. So that works out pretty well for us though. We could reduce the amount of fuel it takes though and go 78 billion kilometers, because range isn't really the problem. Yeah, that works pretty well for us, I think, there. That gives us 2 engines, and we'll research that one. We'll have to replace all the other engines, and I'll have to refit our entire navy as well. Keep in mind, we may be using magneto. This seems like a lot of work, but we may be using magneto plasma for like the next 50 years, right? So it's important that we make use of it in a extremely valuable manner. Okay, the Northumberland requires new orders. Go through, there's a 6 standard jump point, and then stabilize that. So we stabilize the Great Passage between the east and the west. Amphibious defense fleet, yeah, come on, we need to get those, that stuff moved over as soon as possible. Okay, you're looking nice and good here. Sirius, currently producing 10,000 plus tons of resources. Oh, our sector governor must have died. That is a shame in of itself. I need an administrator. I need a soil administrator who's good at doing mining. 30% there. We're going to assign you to sector command. We need a minimum admin rank of 60%. So Sirius A1, you are going to be reassigned to be sector governor. And then for Sirius, for populations, for Sirius, we will add the 20% person to you, because you don't need such a high level administrator. This should in turn mean that we are mining a lot more stuff from the planet. That gives us a 1.3, which gives us 25.8, which is nice to look at indeed. Okay, let's continue incrementing along. The Mark III Striker ASM is done. Let us begin building them. We're going to need, let's put an order in for, I'm also going to stop production of these, of fuel on the planet, because we are not making enough fuel for it to be really worth it at this point. We're going to produce 3,000 missiles. That is going to require, that's, holy crap, that's a lot of Galisite if you think about that, right? So that's going to be 15,000 Galisite for 3,000 missiles. It's a lot of Galisite, not going to lie, there's a lot of Galisite, but it's going to be worth it. I'm going to make a good 400 missiles of these. So I'm going to create that, and then I'm also going to modify this to 75, and then we'll upgrade that into there. In terms of actually shipping the resources over, because Galisite is going to be an ever-present concern, they should be coming in consistently, so hopefully that'll work out for us. Okay, looks like the Devonshire did its orders. Are there any other outposts that require more maintenance supplies that I have neglected in any manner or whatever? Not that I can tell. Another thing I want to be thinking about as well is going to be we can use all the transfer capacity and we can like send missiles up to certain areas, and so I want to probably do transporting over missiles to Ego so that it is able to resupply military fleets from that position. Okay, we got better cargo shuttles from Rice, which is nice to see. Let us go for better refueling system. That should speed up a lot of things. Research lab, you were researching the 320 EP, but then you died, unfortunately. These are great bonuses, but they have so few labs, it doesn't really matter. We can add more to this, and then we can assign it accordingly. We'll have the Mark 1 AMMs done somewhat soon. Okay, they are done. Now we need to reassign all of these up correctly. So you will not use Mark 2s or Mark 1s. You will use Mark 2 AMMs and then Mark 3 Striker ASMs. The Super Carrier, you are going to remove all of your Striker ASMs and you're going to only have Mark 3. You're going to have the Mark 3s, but I'm going to remove 100 of them and I'm going to add in place 400 where is it? 400 AMMs. There we go. That's going to go for the same with this as well. We're going to add in the Mark 3s, well, 700, and then we will add in the AMMs, so 400 of them. Just so that we have extra storage. We don't need that many of them. We'll do 200 of them. Because we're not going to use them that often, are we? So we can do 200, and then we can add in a few more Striker ASMs. We need to make sure the supply vehicle is also the same. So I'm going to remove all of those accordingly, and then we're going to add in the Striker ASMs, and then the AIMs as well. We'll add in 600. That works pretty damn well. Then we need to change out the destroyers. So the guided missile destroyer, you are not using those Firebirds anymore. You're using the Mark II Firebirds. There we go. And yeah, I also want you to carry Firebirds as well. So we're going to remove 100 of those. We're going to carry. We'll move some of those. We'll carry 166 Firebirds. We're going to need a bigger craft, I think, at some point for this. And then the cruiser, you're going to have to get rid of your Mark 1s, and we'll add in your Mark 2 missiles. So it has a total of 640 per carrier. I think that's everything that we need from the missiles. We are going to keep the continual research of that up, though. I do want to go for missile agility, missile reload rate, Gauss cannon, thermonuclear warhead MSP-8. That's a big upgrade. I think that's like, that's a 25% increase in the total capability of missiles. Second supply vessel was completed, and we will assign that directly to the carrier strike group. Yeah, we'll move that to the second carrier strike group whenever it gets here. We'll need to wait a little bit on that. We'll move you back to Seoul, and we'll have you refuel resupply. We are going to need to actually change out the supply and also the LCA's speed, because they are the ones holding the main fleet back now, that the carrier will have a better overall speed. So, landing attack craft. Where's the landing attack craft? Well, we can use logistics one out first. So that's using 400 EP600 engines. So we're going to call this the supply B, and we're going to remove. First off, update the armor. Second off, we're going to add in an appropriate engine that would work well. I think the commercial engine over here would actually work pretty damn well for this. These are military, but they're doing what, 2400 EP, so we can add 3 of these, and then that'll work out just as well for us. That gives us a much better total range capacity, and but that doesn't give us the speed I really want out of it. So what's the engine that they're using? The EP600. That means, yeah, 3,000 tons EP600. So we'll do a 3,000 ton engine just the same. We need a EP60. And then we're going to go for a, what would that be, an 80%? 90%, 100%. So we need a good 25% more out of 2,400. So I need 3,000 EP worth here. So that would work pretty well, I think. Yeah, there we go. 1,200. To 1,200, which gets us pretty damn insane speeds. But fuel usage is a lot worse on these engines than on the other engines. So we're gonna go for smaller engines. Yeah, we're gonna go for smaller engines. So we're gonna go for size 60, and we're gonna go for 80%, 70%, 5%. We'll go for that. See if that works out for us. I could use the optimizer, but I don't really think it'll be necessary. So that gets us that speed. We need 3,200 kilometers per second, so I'm going to need a better engine than that. I need like 800 EP probably, if I want to do what I need to do. So yeah, 800 EP, size 60, and then we're gonna go for 95, 90, 85%, 85%. I think that'll work. 2,400, 3,200. Yeah, with enough engines, it'll work. There we go. So then we can add in the extra fuel storage that we will be able to spare for this. As needs grow, we will need more fuel. So make sure I just get this evened out. So we're going to add in the smalls, and then we'll add in the fighters. Okay, there we go. So now we have that vessel. We'll need to research a new engine. And then I need to go for the landing craft assault vessel, which was the LCA. Where is the LCA? There it is. That will need its own new engines, which is going to take a little bit as well. We're going to remove these two engines. And then, yeah, we'll need to add in EP engines. We need 3,000 tons, so 60 HS, 60 HS. And then I need like 1,500 kilometers per second speed. Well, not 1,500 EP per engine here to get the same amount as I need out of them. So we're gonna go for that. 2 of these, and that gives us 3,840 kilometers. So we need 1,600 EP. Yeah. So you need 3,200 EP to get 4,000 kilometers on a 40,000 ton vessel, it seems. If I just did the math, I probably would have been able to figure that out, but, what can you do? 1.5, 1.8, 1.85, 1.9. We're gonna need bigger engines, like straight up just bigger engines. We're gonna go for 75 HS. Gonna bring the engine down, so we have 1,800 EP there, so that gives us, it's an extra 1,500 tons, but we should be able to pay for that through the armor increases. And then we can also reduce the fuel significantly, because we don't need as much, which will give us then more space to put things on. Like we can add extra armor plates onto the actual vessel itself. So I can add 7 armor. That's 3,600. We don't need 3,600, but whatever. I don't mind. For now, we'll have that as what we need. Okay, there we go, and we'll research that prototype. We've got a lot of things that we need to do. Can we get the Block 3? Block 3 is already researched and ready. We can begin construction of those immediately. We're going to produce 72 of these. Immediately. Those will take a couple years to produce. Senkai Strike Group has arrived at Earth. We can then throw the... I can throw the logistics vessel into that, and that gives us 270,000 tons. And you can then head back to Alpha, not Alpha Centauri, but not Star, and you can begin to refuel and resupply from the planet. And that works great for us. These construction and production people keep dying on me, and that's really, really annoying, I will admit. Better research again, please, guys. Come on. Thermonuclear warhead there. Okay, we complete research into the 576, which means that we can now retool the... for the boarding craft, which is called the Quebec, we can retool the shipyards that I've been waiting on for quite a bit for the Quebec, and we can produce 3 of these, or 4 of these, I guess. We have 2 of them on our supercarriers. That takes up 2,000 tons worth of hangar space. Okay, infantry division trained on the rice. Yeah, infantry division trained on rice. I'm gonna assign these headquarters. I'll rename these after. There we go. I'm gonna assign that to the Army Corps. So an Army Corps, that's around 500,000 tons worth of men. We could probably have a lot more in there if I just added stuff in correctly. And we have combat engineers, so there's no reason not to. Let's just add the combat engineers into these brigades, and then we can add the infantry in accordingly as well. So infantry now. And then we're going to start moving these forces across areas to where we need them to go. Okay, good. We can always make some new reserve store weapons if we need them as well. 3, 4. We need more infantry battalions. But we can begin to add these into the 3rd Infantry Division there. There we go. So that gives us a total size of 591,000 tons worth of forces. 27,000 Federalist Guardsmen. And that is an entire Army Corps. Basically ready to be moved around. And we can move those to where we want them to move to. But we'll hold off that for now. I will order on Raisto construction for more infantry battalions because we will need them. Okay, begin producing all of those battalions. Okay, Senkai Strike Group has complete orders. Yeah, we're just going to wait on missile production. And Zeus Extanus, Northumberland, you want to... Yeah, that's good. So now that means we now have that jump point stabilized, which is great news for us. And... yeah, I mean, there's really not a lot happening at the moment that we need to worry about. We are basically preparing for the refitting and building of everything that we will be needing. We built so far, what, 8 Aardvark Block 3s. And we're continuing construction of the normal Striker anti-missile missiles. Continue slipway advances, which is good. Once we have a full suite of Aardvarks, I'm going to take that in and prepare to fight with that. We also want to obviously increase the speed of our other vessels, because if we increase the speed of our other vessels, then we can significantly improve our chances versus opponent missiles, because that also increases the tracking speed of our vessels. So yeah, let's have a look. What I can actually do though is I should actually probably upgrade the Interceptor, because the Interceptor, we can just remove that engine on it. Unlock the design. Not design, we need to create the 2nd class. Is what I can do is I can still use the fire control, but once racial tech increases, that'll be completely fine. So we'll use engine. Gonna go for the 240 there, EP240, and yeah, a bit too heavy for us there. 250 engine, which we don't have the capability to, so I'll keep the Ontario normals until we get better tracking anyway, and then we can start thinking about that. Something that we probably should start thinking about though is improving the Aegis class design. So we have, what's the design on this? We can do the Aegis B class. Aegis B, and let me have a look at the engine design. So that is a 2600 EP engine, or 2600 ton engine. There's only one of them. So I'm gonna go for a, that would be what, a size 50, 56, 54. We need to go to a, yeah, I think a 52 size engine. I need to increase the fuel, or the EP of that. So we're going to give it an increase of, I think a 140% would work pretty well. That gives us a pretty goddamn good speed. And that gives us a 20% increase in total speed of the ship. So I'm going to get rid of the engine, and then we're going to add on our new engine. So prototypes 1200, that gives us the exact speed that I want to. Also going to update the armor. And we're going to use the updated armor to add in extra weaponry. We can add in more Mark 1 defense cannons. So that'll add in 17 of them instead of 15, which works out pretty damn well for us. We could also add in more command and control things like combat information center. So I'm actually going to remove one of the guns. We're also going to need to redesign the main reactor, but we can add in command and control, command and combat information center there, which worked pretty nice for us. Yeah, and there's nothing else I want to add particularly, but we are going to have to redesign the engine, not the engine, the reactor. Power plant. We're going to need something that can provide really a lot of power. So this is going to be a stellar rate fusion reactor. So I mean like a size 3.7. I'm going to go for a size 4 just to give us some breathing room if we need it. So I'm going to remove the power plant, and I'm going to add in a new power plant. There we go. And that also gives us some spare tonnage. We have a lot more fuel, which we can also get rid of now. We don't need as much, which will reduce the fuel costs on what we need. I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to remove that. So that gives us 21 billion kilometers. I'm going to add in some railguns then with that. So we can add in 2 more railguns, which is lovely. So that means we've increased railguns by 3. So that's a lovely, nice increase. So that's what, a 20% increase in total firepower. And then also our speed has increased accordingly as well. Yeah, let me add, where's the fuel again? Fighter fuel. And what's the difference in cost between the Aegis and the Aegis B? Not that significant, so we can begin refits. And we'll research prototype on that and that. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to leave the episode off here. Not a lot happened this episode. We're mainly just doing a lot of organization, admin work, rebuilding the roads, basically, to prepare for colonization of FL Virginis, Omega Ceti, Egu Pegasi, Zeta Sextanus. And we have begun a new colony in Lalanid 21185. Our Galaxite situation has recovered. We have now got magnetoplasma technology, which is going to take quite a few years to adopt into our navy. And then once we have that technology, I vow that we will take the aliens out in Greenbridge 334 with our new improved missiles, destroyers, carriers, and all the other great things that we have been able to research. I'll see you guys next time. Please just like, comment, subscribe. It really does help out. And bye-bye. Special thanks to members Altigo 1101, King Strozer, Lewis Netto, Impassive 9001, and Gravmania. Thanks for your support. We're able to keep the channel going. And if you guys are interested, please do. If any of you guys are interested, please do become a member. Hit the join button now. It really does help support the channel. We're just and it's completely optional, but it really does help me continue to make these videos. I'll see you guys, and bye.